So, in my short experience here with the ServiceNow environment, one of the most difficult challenges that I had to overcome was involving the FX currency field type. And it took me a good week in order to figure out how to take that value, use it with other currency values, how to take that FX currency value and map it into a currency field. Just a bunch of different examples in order to just work with those FX currency fields. It took a lot of digging, and I didn't find a lot about it on the Now community or on Reddit or on YouTube. So I decided to make this short series. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 episodes involving different ways to use FX currency fields. But that's what we're here doing today, and I'm just going to walk over the makeup requirement, if you will. So what I have here is I have a planned amount field, I have a Jeff's approved amount, and a Jeff's remaining amount. I also have this test trigger right here, and this basically is just going to trigger my business rule for me. So this planned amount field is our FX currency field. All right, so plan FX currency field. Now, the two fields that I created, these are both currency fields. And the reason why I opt to making customized currency fields is just because it is a pain in the rear end to use these FX currency fields, especially if you're trying to do other calculations on the form. So in this example, what I'm going to do is I am going to take this planned amount, and when I add an approved amount, say $300, I want this Jeff's remaining amount to show the difference between the planned amount and the approved amount. And the way I'm going to trigger the business rule is by just clicking this and saving the record. So let's jump into the business rule. So here you go, test trigger. Whenever this changes, that's gonna where it's gonna run. I have an after business rule, and let's go and look at the code. So here in line 5, var currency equals current dot planned. That's our FX currency field. Dot get display value. So this method returns the display value of the field, which is typically what you see in the UI. For a currency field, this would include the currency symbol, the dollar sign, or whatever denomination that you're using. So the next variable is the number. So this is a regex expression that I'm using. So I have this number field right here. I have the currency dot replace, and here's my regex. So this regular expression, that's what the regex stands for, is used to remove any characters that are not digits 0 through 9, a decimal point, or a minus sign, so a negative sign for your number. So the FX currency fields, if you look into it, they are actually made up of two different values, and that's the denomination and the actual number that you're going to use as the value. So what we want to do with this regex is we want to split the denomination from the number. So as you can see, that dot replace, this removes all non-numeric characters, leaving only the digits, decimal points, and potential minus sign for negative numbers. And then we're going to have this new planned equals number. So the number function converts the resulting clean string into a JavaScript numeric value. So basically, I'm taking that FX currency field and stripping it and making it something that we can use in a equation. So down here, I have this var apple. Forgive me for my random variable names. But the var apple is going to equal the new plan minus the current. This is the approved amount, my custom field right here. So this, because of this new planned number, I'm going to be able to do this calculation. If I were just to throw this FX currency field in there, create a variable for it, store it, it wouldn't work. So Then what I'm going to do is if you want to set the field back to an FX currency field, uh, well, what we're doing here in line 12 is we're adding the denomination back to that number that we're getting from the subtraction right here of these two variables. So current dot just remaining value is dot gets display value. I want the USD denomination, and I want to add that to my Apple variable. All right, then I got my current dot update down here and a couple info messages. So if I go back here, I'm just going to refresh this page. And I'm going to put the approved amount for 300. I'm going to click my test trigger here. I'm going to save. And here you can see my info messages, and there you go. We have our calculation complete. There's my remaining amount is $200. So like I said at the beginning, the FX currency fields can be a little wonky to work with. And there's really three areas that I found most annoying. And one is when you're doing calculations. Two is when you're trying to run a business rule from one form to another to try to populate the value. Um, and three is when you're actually trying to import data from a currency type field in an Excel format to an FX currency field. You have to do a special script inside the transform map too. So we can go over those things as well in the future. So if you have any other questions or you want me to send you the code, please leave a comment, and thank you for your time today, y'all.